All right, last but not least, who wants to agree with me that today was an awesome day at Authenticate? That's the kind of energy that I like when we're trying to go into a party after this. So I'm really happy to introduce Tetsuya Karino, an engineer at Mercari. Karino-san has been very involved with the FIDO Alliance and the FIDO Japan Working Group, giving feedback and sharing the Mercari case study in hopes to make some improvements, and really with the goal of ensuring usability while maintaining the great security that FIDO provides. So please help me to welcome Karino-san from Mercari.
Thank you, everyone. This is the last presentation today. After that, we have a party, passwordless party. So I try to finish this presentation as much early as much as possible. So keep your attention, please. My name is Tetsuya Karino. I'm a software engineer at Mercari Japan. I'm working on the authentication and authorization. Then today, I'm going to talk about balancing security and usability in the context of the passkey adaptation to Mercari. Which one? This one?
The bigger one.
Bigger one. Oh, thank you. Let me explain today's agenda first. The first one is the key insight. I explained our learning from our experience. That's sounds obvious, but that's very important. Then to explain the key insight, I want to explain the nature of passkey. It's mainly focused on the trade-off between the security and usability. And after that, I want to explain the Mercari's actual passkey adaptation as one of the examples, and I want to explain the detail of the deployment one by one. The first one is the key insight. The passkeys are better than password plus OTP for security and usability. So sometimes it's explained we can achieve security and usability by just adapting the passkey. It's true, but it's only compared with the password plus OTP. Even in passkey deployment, there's a still trade-off between the security and usability. And then the security and usability, that kind of a trade-off is appeared in the registration and authentication and passkey management. That is the topic what I want to explain in this presentation. To explain this key insight very clearly, I want to start from the trade-off of the password deployment at first. This graph is kind of the graph to illustrate the trade-off between security and usability. So, for example, let's imagine that when we correct the sum of the password deployment and score for security and usability and plot it on this graph, we will see this kind of the trade-off. For example, if RP don't support the MFA, multi-factor authentication, from the usability point of view, it's good. But from the security point of view, that is not ideal. On the other hand, if RP supports the MFA and require re-authentication frequently, and if there is a limitation of the device, only from this device user can use service, in that situation, it's very secure, but from the usability point of view, not so good. So we can balance the security and usability by changing the frequency or condition of the re-authentication. That is a password trade-off of the password deployment. And let's compare with the passkey deployment and password. Something like the password, when we correct the deployment of the passkey and protect it here, we will see this kind of the trade-off, I think. From the security point of view, the most important point is, of course, phishing resistance. Passkey has a phishing resistance, But on the other hand, password, it is difficult to adapt the phishing resistance. So there is a clear gap between the password and passkey. And from the usability point of view, basically the biometrics authentication is easier than waiting MFA, waiting SMS OTP, or generating OTP with a different application. So basically, the passkeys are better than password plus OTP for security and usability. But of course, passkeys are complicated than password. And then current average user don't so understand what is a passkey. So for example, if user face the situation, the passkey authentication has failed, the user couldn't understand what's going on. So when we think about the illustration, and then if based on the RP deployment, if user frequently face the situation, it is not good user-friendly. It's lower than password situation. And even in passkey deployment, there are still trade-offs between the security and usability. If RP adapts a single passkey, it is easier from the usability point of view. It is easy to use from the user because the single passkey can be synced to another device. But of course, we have to think about the additional attack scenario. For example, if attacker gets a passkey provider's account with a phishing attack, this single passkey can be synced to the attacker's device also. On the other hand, if RP only supports a device-bound passkey or enforced to use their passkey to their service, it's very secure. It should be very secure, but the user will face the passkey unavailable situation a lot. So from the usability point of view, it will be decreased. That is the passkey, the trade-off of the passkeys. The next question is from the RP point of view, which deployment is better to apply for the RP? To explain this point, I want to explain the Mercari's passkey adoption mainly from the motivation. The Mercari's service for consumer mainly offers C2C marketplace, but not only that, we provide MerPay and MerCoin. MerPay offers mainly net payment and mobile payment, and MerCoin offers cryptocurrency exchange. Then by using MerPay, user can buy something in the real store. So user can sell something in the marketplace and can buy something in a real store. That kind of user experience can be provided. And by using the MerCoin, the user can buy and sell Bitcoin from their fund. And this kind of service implemented in the single application. So user can use all of the service from the single application with the same account and the same credential. And this is the important point from the passkey adoption. All of the security levels are different. So on the MerPay, they have to trace the payment transaction, so the required security level is higher than Mercari. And something like that, the MerCoin have to trace the cryptocurrency transaction, so required the security level is higher than MerPay. So these kind of the difference affect the motivation to adapt passkey. In Mercari, there are mainly three motivations to adapt passkey: improve the user experience, improve the security, and also reduce the cost of the SMS OTP. In Mercari, there's no very strict security requirement, relatively. So the main motivation to adapt passkey is user experience, improve the user experience. On the other hand, in MerPay, there are some services require SMS OTP to mitigate a phishing attack. So we want to replace the SMS OTP to the passkey. So the main motivation is to reduce the SMS cost. Then in MerCoin, that require the highest security level in Mercari, what they want to do is protect their feature from the phishing attack as much as possible. So they want to take advantage of the passkeys, phishing resistance to protect their service. That is the difference of the motivation. Then when we plot this service into the trade-off graph, it will be something like that, I think. And by the way, when we adapt the passkey to the Mercoin and the Merpay, we get a significant improvement on the user experience point of view. Basically, this is not the main topic of this presentation, but from yesterday, some of the RP showed their number, so I wanted to add this one. Only that. Okay, then next question is actually what kind of a difference will be happen in between the deployment? To explain that, I want to introduce a kind of a topic, usability focused RP and security focused RP. That is not actual deployment. It is a kind of the concept. The usability focused RP, no need to care about security so much, and security focused RP, no need to think about usability so much. In that situation, let's think about the passkey adaptation. And when we think about the passkey adaptation, we have to consider some topic related to the authentication, registration, and passkey management. The first one is authentication. Then when we think about, for example, how should RP prompt user to use passkey, on the usability-focused RP, passkey authentication is optional. So if user couldn't use a passkey, it's OK to use another authentication method as a fallback. And if the fallback authentication is a phishable authentication method, then it is possible the user could input their credential to the phishing site. But that is acceptable on this usability-focused RP because they focus on the usability. On the other hand, the security-focused RP, they couldn't accept the situation. So to protect their service, they have to, maybe the passkey authentication could be required. There's no fallback authentication. Then if user couldn't use the passkey, the user have to do a kind of the account recovery process. And then usually in this kind of the RP, the account recovery process is very complicated. Maybe user have to do a identity verification. So maybe user have to submit an identity document, or maybe user have to go to the real shop to recover the account. So in this kind of RP, keep the passkey available situation is very important. So it connected to the another consideration. It's related to hybrid. Hybrid is a way to use a device as an authenticator. So when user want to use a service from their laptop, and then the laptop don't have the passkey, in that case, user can use their smartphone as an authenticator and authenticate to log in to the service from laptop. This way is strong against phishing attack because the authentication must be within the area the two devices can be connected within the Bluetooth. So from the security-focused RP point of view, the hybrid transport should be recommended to use that because this security-focused RP required to use authenticate, passkey authentication, and the account recovery process is very complicated and hybrid. But on the other hand, usability-focused RP, the hybrid transport is no need to recommend it. If user want to use that, it's OK, just use it. But currently, the hybrid transport is a little bit complicated, especially on the initiation process. So for the average user, it is easy to use another fallback authentication method. So no need to recommend it. This kind of the authentication, the difference will be affected the registration and passkey management. For example, when we think about how to recommend user to register the passkey for the first time, on the usability-focused RP, the passkey registration is also optional because authentication is optional. So what the RP have to do is just prepare the way to register the passkey and encourage user to do that in some place, like after the login process or after the account recovery process. On the other hand, security-focused RP, the passkey registration will be required because in this RP, the passkey authentication is required to use specific feature. So something like that, the authentication decision will be affected the passkey management. When we think about the re-authentication to manage the passkey, it means adding or deleting a passkey. On the security-focused RP, the main purpose to adapt passkey is to protect feature from the phishing attack. So they have to protect the passkey management also. Otherwise, the attacker can get the credential, the phishable credential by the phishing site, and maybe the attacker can register their own passkey and access to the protected services. So in this security-focused RP, they have to protect their passkey management page based on the basically strongest authentication. But on the usability-focused RP, don't need to care about so much. Then that is the summary of the extreme RP. In the usability-focused RP, authentication and registration is optional. No need to recommend to use the hybrid transport. No need to protect the passkey management with a so strong re-authentication. On the other hand, a security-focused RP, the passkey authentication could be required to use specific feature. Because of that, the passkey registration should be required. And the hybrid transport should be recommended, and then passkey management should be protected as well. That is the extreme RP, but in actual deployment, we have to balance the security and usability. So I want to explain this point based on the Mercari passkey deployment, detail of that deployment. It's a little small and a Japanese picture, but the first one is authentication. On the Mercari and Merpay, they don't need to require the passkey authentication. The passkey authentication is optional in this Mercari and Merpay. So on the sign-in process, we initiate the passkey authentication with autofill only. Then, of course, in that case, another authentication method can be used, password plus OTP or something. On the other hand, in the Mercoin, the passkey authentication is required. So when user want to use a Mercoin, the passkey authentication is initiated. And if there's no passkey on the user's using device, we expect the hybrid transport will be initiated. Currently, this behavior is only realized on the iOS, not the Android. But anyway, we expected this kind of experience. And of course, in that situation, if user couldn't use any passkey, they couldn't use the Mercoin. But this situation is acceptable to protect the Mercoin from the phishing attack. And this decision will not affect the Mercari and Merpay. Even if user lost all of the passkey, still they can use the Mercari and Merpay. The next one is the registration. It's almost the same. The Mercari and Merpay, they don't need to enforce to users to register the passkey. So they just only show up the, just encourage user to register the passkey on the, for example, after the login page or sending message to encourage user to register. But on the other hand, on the Mercoin, the passkey registration is required because to use the Mercoin, user have to do a passkey authentication. So on the Mercoin, they treat the passkey registration as one of the preconditions to start Mercoin. Of course, this situation affects the Mercoin's users number. It will be reduce the use utility rate, but this situation can be acceptable to make the Mercoin very secure. And additionally, this spec had a huge benefit from the passkey point of view. Because the user has a motivation to use Mercoin. So even if the user faces the situation, something like you have to enable the iCloud keychain. In that situation, even in that situation, user can achieve that because they want to use a Mercoin. Then, additionally, when Mercoin starts a campaign to increase the Mercoin users number, the passkey users also increase automatically. And then all of the users can use their passkey to log into the Mercari account and use the Mercari and Merpay. So that is a huge benefit from our passkey deployment point of view. The last one is passkey management. Currently, we require user to use strongest authentication to add the passkey. So it means if there is no passkey on the account, the SMS OTP is the strongest one. So just before to register passkey, the user have to do a SMS authentication, and after that, the passkey registration is initiated. And after that, when user want to add another passkey, in that case, the passkey authentication is the strongest authentication, of course. So user have to do a passkey authentication at first, and then they can register new passkeys. Because of that, then we can protect the Mercoin feature, but of course, there is a huge disadvantage for the Mercari and the Merpay user. When we think about when user lose their passkey, user face some trouble, like they can't use the Mercoin and they can't add new passkeys. And the first one is acceptable because it's only affected the Mercoin, and Mercoin accepts the situation. But the second one is also affected the Mercari and Merpay. But the Mercari and Merpay is not so high strict security requirement. They don't need to do that, but this is affected also this Mercari and Merpay. And the meaning of the second one is they couldn't recover by themselves if the user loses their passkey. So they have to contact their customer support. Then we get a lot of the inquiry from the customer support, so it's very difficult situation. So we want to mitigate the situation. Then currently, we recommend user to use synced passkey instead of device-bound passkey. Then we expect the number of users will be decreased. The user will face this kind of the trouble situation. But to realize that, we have to accept the risk of passkey management, passkey providers account takeover. So it means that in Mercari situation, if user use the passkey, the user can use Mercari and Merpay and Mercoin. All of the service can be used only with the passkey. So if the passkey is synced one, and then if attacker gets a passkey provider's account with a phishing site, and then if the attacker gets a synced passkey, the attacker also can use all of the service on the Mercari and Merpay and Mercoin. But currently, we expect this situation is very low, so honestly, we accept the situation. But in the future, if actually this kind of the risk happened, we have to enable the kind of the flag to enable the kind of SMS OTP with a passkey. So in that situation, the SMS OTP is managed on the RP side. So even if the passkey is leaked to the attacker, the still Mercoin keep to protect it. But of course, to improve the user experience, even situation, if the device-bound passkey or kind of the passkeys provided provenance, if we can use this feature, we can require SMS OTP only when the device is new or specific passkey provider. That's kind of the process we can choose. And that is the conclusion of this presentation. But it looks my time is over. So that is my conclusion. Thank you for your attention.
Does anybody have any questions? The one question that we had in the app was what your position is and/or what, how do you deal with the concept of airdropping passkeys?
Airdropping. Basically, when we think about the airdrop, the device have to be close. So I think it's the same with the hybrid transport situation. Then we honestly, if the device is close, it is difficult to proceed a phishing attack in wide range situation. So only will be executed in the near place. So I think the airdrop is the same situation.
Right, so you need proximity, so it's just not like scalable, right? And then one other question, could you elaborate on your decision not to have fallback authentication methods for Meracoin?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Can you elaborate on the decision to not have fallback authentication methods for Meracoin?
On the Meracoin, include the fallback authentication. Currently, we didn't think to do that because when we think about the Meracoin deployment, the passkey phishing attack has happened so much. So we, from the engineer side, also from the executive side, we want to protect the Meracoin feature as much as possible. So currently, we didn't think about introduce fallback authentication to the Meracoin.
Because it could be more susceptible to be phished, because it could be a phishable fallback method? Is that, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, correct.
Well, thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you.
Great job.